Who needs a league when you got a legion?
Oh, 1, 2, 3. You can't hide from me. 1, 2, 3. Now just you wait and see. 1, 2, 3. You can't hide from me. No matter what you do, I'm gonna find you. Oh, 1, 2, 3. You can't hide from me. 1, 2, 3. Now just you wait and see.
Action Comics had 5 key comics that I collected that weren't all about Superman. Welcome back, they call me Uncle. You might be wondering, what is a key comic? Well, key comics are comic books or magazines that include first appearances, specific artists, or major events like deaths or marriages. And so today we're going to be talking about 5, probably what you'd call minor keys. Everybody has heard of Superman. He's known worldwide, and at one point he was in 3 concurrent titles for years. He started out in action. He was also in adventure comics and in his own self-titled one, Superman. Now, I knew early on that I would never be able to collect all of those, especially with Action number 1 at the time being over 6 figures. So instead, I focused on collecting something that I could collect all of and that I enjoyed reading, and really was one of my favorite DC titles, and that was the Legion of Superheroes. So as I was collecting Action Comics, I was mostly focused on picking up Legion of Superhero appearances. Now, the first key, it's kind of a minor key, but the first key I got from Action Comics was Action Comics 267. It was published in August of 1960. This is the 3rd appearance of the Legion of Superheroes. It's the first appearance of Chameleon Boy, and for some reason, when they would introduce new Legionnaires, they would have some kind of plaque showing what their power was, or telling you what their power was before they demonstrated their power. And his was Super Disguise, which is interesting because he's really a shapeshifter. And he demonstrates his power by shape-shifting into a tree. He didn't put on a disguise, he turned into a tree. Chameleon Boy, his first video appearance was in Superman the Animated Series, New Kids in Town. Next up is Colossal Boy, whose power is identified as super growth, which he demonstrates by growing. And finally, you have Invisible Kid, whose power is identified as super invisibility, and he demonstrates that by turning invisible. Now, the next key for the Legion that I managed to collect came in Action Comics 276. This was published in May of 1961, and it included the first appearance of Phantom Girl, who can phase through or ghost through solid matter. Triplicate Girl, who splits into 3 different versions of herself. Shrinking Violet, who has super shrinking. Bouncing Boy, who has super bouncing. Sun Boy, he has super radiance. And then finally you have Brainiac 5, a descendant of the supervillain Brainiac, whose powers appear to be explaining how smart he is.
I am the universe's only 12th level intellect. I invented this force field.
And a belt with a force field.
Unhinged? You tried to kill Superman, my cousin.
Believe me, if I had tried to kill Superman, I would have succeeded.
Those are the two I remember the most. In addition to these first appearance-filled Legion keys, I collected all of these Legion of Superheroes issues from Action Comics. The next key was Action Comics 360. Now, this was published in March of 1968, and it tells Supergirl's origin story. Now, because we were going to do this video, Carter and I sat down and we watched Supergirl from 1984, the movie. It does tell her origin story. Helen Slater does fine. But the rest of them, it has Peter O'Toole for some reason. It has Peter Cook. Has Faye Dunaway in it. I think if Superman hadn't already had at least 2 recent movies, this would have seemed better. But it seemed very subpar compared to the special effects and the story in at least the first 2 Superman movies. Christopher Reeves doesn't even show up in the movie other than a poster of him in a dorm room. But anyway, Carter and I sat through it. We used our 5-star, 5-minute scoring system, and it resulted in a 2.88, which is a one and done. It's not something either one of us would probably ever watch again, but we don't regret watching it. It's very campy, and it's just not very good. It could be worse. It could have been Madam Web or Wonder Woman 1984. Those two are down a lot closer to don't waste your time. The next key came in Action Comics 432, February 1974. This was the first appearance of a new Toyman. Now, Toyman wasn't a villain that I was familiar with in the comics, but I grew up watching Super Friends, and Toyman was one of the Legion of Doom. Anyway, it was kind of a minor key. Okay, the final key we're going to talk about was Action Comics 598. Now, this was the first appearance of Checkmate. Now, if you're not familiar with Checkmate, think of them as DC's version of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or S.H.I.E.L.D. Checkmate appeared in Smallville Season 9. I think they were in a few episodes, but one in particular is called Checkmate, where they kind of introduce Checkmate and do some callbacks to things that had happened earlier in the season. So overall, I collected 162 Action Comics issues. Now, in addition to the Legion of Superhero issues, there were a number of my favorite artists who also worked on Action Comics. First up is Neal Adams. He worked on 30 issues from 1967 to 1978, including a number of Legion issues. The issues I was able to collect are scrolling by now, so we'll let those go by so you can see them. Then in the 70s, Mike Grell, another artist that I really like, worked on some Green Arrow and Black Canary stories and did one cover that I picked up, which you're looking at now. John Byrne, he had several runs in Action Comics, including one of the keys. The Checkmate issue, Action Comics 598, was actually done by John Byrne. Now, George Perez did a couple of covers that I collected, and Michael Turner worked on issue 813 that I picked up. Now, all of the comics you've seen in this video are currently available on our website, excaliburstrategies.net. Click on keys, scroll down here, and you can see the 5 keys we've just talked about. Now, we have 40,000 items, So if you're looking for other Legion issues or really any other issues, we might have them. So just click on contact, shoot me an email. So come back next Sunday, see what we have going on. And also check on Fridays. We put out shorts on Fridays, and we're trying to put out a video every Sunday. So come back and hang out with us a little bit. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
The end. As always, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.